have you communicated with a social media user who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY?
I've had several phone calls with the person who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I don't actually know his real name.
Unfortunately, every time I make a call, it becomes content for them idiots.
Help! I've been tossed overboard.
I'll have to bill you extra for my time.
Screw it.
Welcome to the show. You look incredible, like a dessert that owns a yacht.
That's exactly the vibe I was going for. You know, sweet but slightly out of your tax bracket.
Mission accomplished. How does one even shop for a suit when your head is...
Gold on my neck, gold on my hand, purple with the stripes, that's the walk of a man. Sidewalk shining, city lights humming, every step I take, they know a boss is
blazing the whip, gotta vanquish the needs. My kingdom for some poppy seeds, yo.
Was barking on the phone, all that tough talk threatened. Now you looking at the floor like judge, I'm just stressing.
Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yay! Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem. Under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY, I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Run it back, 56 bands on the clown in the shack. 100 more vanished all up in the cracks. Check going crazy. TUG on attack, let's go. They said donate, we so desperate. Turn tears to a Tesla checklist. Turn prayers to a payment method. Little PayPal past the plastic necklace. Couple cars, same story, same script. Whole life on a thrifty wish list. Scam saints in the tin can kingdom. Damn, you thrown on some milk crate business. 56K, that's one poor soul. Thinking they feed in the fight got stole. 100K plus from the rest that roll into Walmart rugs in the folding bowl. Trailer park struggle on the live stream angle. Meanwhile, flexing every cheap little trinket and candle. Screenshot sobs, then they cash that handle. Turn halos into handles for they sandals. You ain't hustling, you harvesting hope. Tie good people by the neck with a rope. crying on cam. I can't pay my bills, then flex next week with the shopping cart bill. Swore you was broke, but the math don't match. Same sad script, just a different batch. Got your mods in the chat like a watchdog gang, but the logs don't lie. Every dollar got fame. Lip gloss lies in the lawn check throne. Plastic crown, little prepaid phone. Counting $30 on the milk crate table, talking big talk. But the numbers tell fables. 56K is one plays their part. 100 more gone, you've been picking folks apart. Trailer door squeak when the cameras come on. Whole fake kingdom about to get torn. You hit donate, then you hit delete. Screenshots surfacing receipts on repeat. You play poor, play sick, play pray for me. But every sad story got the same IP. Refresh page, see the sub go climb. Meanwhile, you lying about the deadline time. Jack cries, then you buy more shine. All that pity turn to petty design. DOG got the timeline tape. Side by side clips can't escape. Freeze frame flex with the checkout page. Then cut to your we so broke stage.
What's up, folks? How's it going? Welcome to a Friday edition of some really stupid things still going on. I swear. Oh, Lord, it has been an interesting one. Did you know that Vomit has been writing the courts? That's right. In the state court now, just like his buddy BBB. He is now writing and putting letters on the docket there. That's right, trying to interfere with those cases. You also, you have weird articles being written. You have, oh, you have so much stupid. Oh, Lord. Can't even keep up. It's so nuts. Yeah, letters. He's actually writing the freaking court letters. Just found out about that today. We had some movement in one of the state cases, you know, and well, Vomit was he was the surprised person that was involved there. I was wondering exactly what was happening with it, you know, when the portal came up and said there was some new stuff, but yeah, we found out that that it was an idiot that was yet again getting involved. It's so crazy to see some of this stuff, by the way. So check this out. This is in the Granger VLP. Look at this. This just popped up. So check this out. By the way, Melissa, I'm going to use you since you actually have redacted everything so far. Look at this mess. Isn't this crazy? You actually have Vomit writing in, and I think I'll go over these heavier tomorrow. We got so much to cover. Like I'll clip these, but you can see like he was the one writing. This is what ended up popping up on the docket. This goes with their brand new article trying to attack Grabe and attack his staff yet again. But look, folks, I have some concerns about about some email correspondence on the docket and orders which don't line up with the correspondence. Look at him. What is up with this? And you know what's funny is, look, his version of read my Substack is on here too. He's trying to, and they flag his Substack, and they're like, "Oh, you know, you've got to be suspicious of those links because those links are they probably will lower your IQ if you're not careful." Isn't this crazy? So BBB is not writing the court now. His little lackeys between this and I noticed all of his stuff. It goes through my timeline periodically because I've made fun of his stuff once upon a time. So let's see. Substack. They had another hit piece article going after ye old judge. I thought that was it's kind of weird seeing how much they go after this judge, especially like none of that can be helpful. you know? Like none of it. Like how is any of this helpful whatsoever? But hey, they're dumb enough to do it. And I mean, they just keep doing it. So here, give me a second. I'm pulling up the article that goes with it. I wonder, hopefully you're getting paid for this stuff. Oh my God. It's so funny too. They've gone back to trying to repost old interviews and everything while screaming about how other people like don't have any content. It's like, are you kidding me? I like though. I'm guessing this is a paid article, by the way, the new one. Now, what do I base that on? I base it on the amount of likes, because anytime they get a certain amount of likes, let's check this stuff out. Give me 1 minute. I want to show you this. I gotta load it up, because when you check out any of their stuff, if it's got over 8 or 9 likes, well, typically it looks like a paid article. And look, 32 likes. Although, funny enough, when you go through and you start looking at it, you have to ask yourself, how many of those people are real? It only gets the same. It's funny, no matter what, though, it gets around the same amount of shares or reshares, restacks, whatever they call it here, and about the same amount of comments. The comment, of course, being from one paint chips. So I have the feeling that these are bad. This is a paid article. It's so bad. Draw scrutiny from who, by the way? Oh, from this guy. Paid moron. Bruce, oh my God, please tell me you're not paying these guys. This is some of the saddest shit I've ever seen. Between this and the continued Disney Cruise Line stuff, you've got to be kidding me. Look at this. I'm going to show you this real fast. They double and triple down on their stupid so much. So I've got to show you this as well. So they also were posting about the Disney thing, because apparently anything Megan Fox says, they have to try for a gotcha, and they're so dumb that the gotchas don't work. So they're like, Megan Fox couldn't have been on a cruise in '86. Disney, there were no Disney cruises. Disney Cruise started up in '98. No, it didn't. In 1985, Disney was partnered with Premier Cruise Line. They had the big red ship. With the big red ship, they even called it the official cruise line of Walt Disney World. I remember it very well. I remember the advertisements. You'd see them everywhere. You'd see them in magazines and everything. And they're just so desperate for a gotcha with Megan Fox. Megan Fox, I guess, owns a piece of that CPS ended up visiting Michelle Preston. Now, if that's true, first of all, again, I do not encourage that anyway, shape or form. No encouragement of that in any way. Having said that, I seem to remember Lynette Preston blaming them again for calling CPS in the past. And it is interesting. Again, I'm not saying that they did. They do say other people do. It's funny, but I'm not saying they did. I am saying, however, anytime the views get low, they resort to some pretty crazy stuff. Every time the views get low, we get calls in to the Popo for one thing or the other. You know, we have calls in about Travis. We have in new reports of this or that. I mean, there's always something bizarre with it. And again, quoting Miss Preston herself, she said that they had called CPS. In fact, let's pull that up real quick just to put it with that statement, because they love to blame other people for stuff. Well, when they blame, they forget they blamed them too. So, you know, they reported that there was an anonymous CPS call. Now, again, I don't encourage calls simply because if there is something that came up and there was a mandated report around, they can call themselves. And to be honest, CPS does not help situations. They don't. It's a sad reality. They are very what's the word? Not helpful. That's it. But yeah, let's quote LP again. Her own words that they say don't exist. Oh, by the way, it's funny with LP. Went back today just to make sure. They kind of telegraphed the way that they're going to want to play the court depot. You know, as Hale said, the videos, or the video rather, audio, I said video, but the audio of Michelle Preston contacting and talking to myself would be used in the courtroom, which they don't seem to know how to spin correctly. You know, they keep wanting to spin as Tina still, but now they're like, well, if it is real, then it's like, yeah, it's gonna be hard to spin that one because you know, it's this weird thing called real. You know, not an AI creation. In fact, I had Tina go in and make sure to video where Preston is asking her to contact me, and you know, through the messages through Facebook Messenger. That way, if she has the audacity to try to deny it in a court, which would be perjury, by the way, Lynette, if you do lie about it, there are all the texts right out of your own account where you're trying to contact. But here, listen, it's very short. You talk about CPS to your home, that piece of shit, I believe, I cannot prove this, but I believe her or she had someone else, they sent them to my home. So, okay, they want to do that, fine. You know, criminals shouldn't play.
Well, she called on me. She gave her name.
She called on me. She gave her name. Oh, well, that's weird, isn't it? That's weird. So, again, any of these weirdos that come out and they start trying to blame everyone else, you know, just like I said, it's very weird that I'm not saying that anyone did, anyone didn't. I don't know, but it's just weird. Anytime the viewies all get low, there's always something new, isn't there? These people are so crazy. Let's check out this newness. By the way, we have so much with this depot. The depot, they tried to, of course, the spin to this has been unreal to listen to. It's always like that, though. It's always not correct. The spin has been, it's like I said, it's so unreal. They were trying to say everything from that Jeremy somehow said that Saran Wrap didn't get paid. You know, the lawyer, which is not true. He did not say that. In fact, he said he did not get paid enough. That's what was stated. Not paid enough, because the $6K that he got paid at the time starting to seem a mite low these days. You know, compared to all the dollary dues and stuff that has actually been thrown out there. The other day, we heard that Michelle Preston went to her vehicle and got something, and now they've turned around and said, no, that didn't happen. It's like, wait a minute, you just said it happened. Oh, Lord. So let's listen to some of this new fun times. Let me pull this up real quick. Give me a second to lock it in. Let's just do it, baby. Let's just do it. By the way, I appreciate you folks showing up on a fraud day. I was running behind today, so let me make sure I tag the video correctly. Lord, give me 1 minute. I got to make sure I tag my video. I don't even remember if I did today. Sure didn't. Give me a second here. You tell people we are live, by the way, because it looks like I did not tag the video correctly. Yep, there we go. I noticed, by the way, that the ThATuMBs has eliminated certain metrics, which are very kind of troubling. You know, they make it harder and harder to keep up with the metrics when people watch what they're doing on this. So bizarre. Oh, look at, they're not even counting numbers right this minute. Huh. Okay, sorry about that. I was just looking at something here. I was looking at live viewers and watching them not count live viewers. There, here we go. All right, so that freeze game. These videos have been amazing, by the way. I really want Hales to continue them. In order to tell Hales that people want to see these, make sure that you are watching these videos there. In fact, I let them play a few times just to make sure they get not just the plays, but they get more plays. So just make sure. So let's check this out.
Lynette's in the deposition of her life trying to save her property, that beautiful property, and yet she's lying. She's lying from the very beginning. She even states when she's asked what her name is that she has never, ever gone by Ruby. That's odd,
that was another spin too, by the way. So the name spin, that was something else I almost forgot to mention. The name spin was very odd because they tried to make this into a, they're going after her for her name. For her names. No, it's about legality for some. And again, these are not people that wanted to be added to a bankruptcy. Hales did not ask to be added to a bankruptcy. This was Preston's doing. This was all the people around her's doing. They're the ones that fired up a bankruptcy. This dude, he's just minding his own business, you know. I love the pause game on his face, by the way. Hey, too, let me catch the super chats as they come in. That way we'll know. So let me throw everybody. Sue, thank you. There's 3 so far, so let's do it. Thanks for the 28 months. Sending a blanket hello to everyone. Much love. Yeah, love and support, prayers, indeed. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Max? Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And Emma, look at that, man. Rolling. 1 more month till 3 years. That's amazing, Emma. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. If you got some comments, if they roll in on the moment, that helps them. Let's do this.
Text messages that she has sent stating that it's Ruby.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, there's been plenty of these. So she has a bunch of names that she claims she doesn't use. Now, why is that? Why does that matter? It's just more stuff to lie about. And if the small things are lies, then the big things are lies. You understand? Like, if you can't tell the truth about the small details, how can anyone expect you to tell the truth about the major stuff? Look at all these. There's some more in there. These are her also attacking Lord. Just read through these too. They're awful. To the one daughter with the glove who is accosting my grandchildren. I can't even see them. One who's a rug addict and mentally ill. I always get calls. She's almost in the hospital. I mean, just look at this stuff. It's wild. Oh, wow. Remember, no back.
It gets even crazier when Randy asked Lynette under oath in a court session, how many pieces of property, how much land, how many homes have you ever owned, under what names, what was your legal name, what's on your birth certificate? And 45 minutes later, after a 45-minute delay, she claims she lives in a property, in a house now in Otter Creek. Which Randy asked the appropriate question, what house?
Really? What house, for real?
Not only does Randy want to know what home she currently lives in, I think the rest of the planet would like to know as well.
Well, yeah,
what home? So her initial idea was to buy the property in Otter Creek, telling everybody,
Wait,
don't worry, there's a plan.
So she's calling the trailer a home? Is that how that's going? I'm not sure. By the way, thank you for the 44 months, Rachel. That's awesome there. I love you and the girls. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week on this front. It's been a crazy week on the regular front. So it just has been crazy. This stuff is crazy. But yeah, I'm curious about what counts as a home then. Like what indeed? What are we counting the trailer? Is that a... Again, I'm not taking shots at trailer. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about homesteading, you know? So there is a point to these types of questions. You know, there's legal definitions to this, and they themselves, you know, the definitions and the rules, they just keep on changing apparently.
And there's a plan. The plan was to try and manipulate Jeremy, George, gain money, funding for all the turtles to create a turtle sanctuary, which is more of a purgatory, a rescue to where the animals actually need rescued. There's no home. She bought sheds. The initial plan was to live in a tent. She's publicly posted, well, that plan's not going to work with a medically fragile child. Obviously, the child must not be.
Can you imagine living in a tent?
Fragile.
Can you imagine living in a tent with a family of people in Florida, in the Florida heat? I cannot.
If Lynette's whole plan was to live in a tent on purgatory property, which then turned into sheds, which then turned into a camper, which then she defaulted on her loan on the camper, and then that was taken away. Then she tried to get Jamie's camper. That camper was stolen. That camper was taken away. Then she tried to get Lloyd's camper.
Yeah.
Trespass 5 went in, which they did not trespass, but they all were given trespass letters afterwards and saved an elderly victim from Lynette and Crook. Tried to get that camper. Now has another camper with both her name and Crook's name. Does not have an occupancy permit for any type of home, any type of structure whatsoever. She is claiming homestead illegally in the state of Florida, and we'll get to that as well. She'll be held accountable for that. She's living illegally in a camper. Crook is living illegally in a shed, and a lot of times in a tent. Oh, that's when Lynette.
Did you hear, by the way, they were throwing a fit about the idea that anybody is actually living in a tent. It doesn't live in a tent. And so they were talking about living in a tent at one time. Are you kidding me? So it's so weird to see something and them actually talk about it and then come back and say that never happened. It's such gaslighting bullshit. It just blows my mind sometimes.
In the shed, Crook had to get booted out to the tent. Yeah. Okay. There's no home. There's no home whatsoever. And as I dig into this with you, I want you to understand, as Randy is asking questions, this is all about homestead. In other words, a tax break in federal bankruptcy court. If she actually had a homestead, then it could be protected in her bankruptcy. She could actually keep her home. But here's a massive problem. Number one, she lives in the incorporated Otter Creek, and she fought to keep it incorporated.
Yeah, that's actually her fault. See, we live in unincorporated area here. You know, it keeps down certain rules, certain conditions out of the main area here. They don't lord over us. They can't tell us that we have to do this or we have to pay that. You know, we're in charge. So it's a big deal. But Lynette Preston actually fought for that. It's kind of funny. Been watching this so long, and I kind of love that I've been watching this so long because I know this stuff. You know, there are things I still don't No, I mean, again, there's so much I forget pieces of it. Lord, there are people out there, by the way, props to them. They help everyone from Melissa, Allison, Mark. I mean, there's so many of you. I'm forgetting people. Susan, I appreciate your post. Susan Davis is funny. I could get a laugh at her. She's really good. She's good with posted stuff. And the one thing I like too, if like with Susan, if something's noted, like if I don't know something, I actually I can read there, and if I get something wrong, which happens, I'm not a damn lawyer, so I like that somebody will post and be like, nope, that's actually like, for example, a good example of that was how electronic filing works, Fed versus state. I thought that was, I mean, there's so much nuance. Again, it changes too from state to state. So I appreciate you, Susan. Susan's funny. You should check her stuff out as well. But I'm glad to have watched enough of this just to see where Lynette went in. She fought for this stuff, and then it comes back and bites her.
And I continued to tell the world, just unincorporate Otter Creek. Otter Creek can't fund itself. It can't take care of itself. It doesn't have the people or the resources. Let the county take care of it. If Otter Creek would have been unincorporated, she would have been able to claim much greater homestead. But since Otter Creek is incorporated, she can only protect half an acre in a homestead. Last ditch Hail Mary. Except you have to have a home. And she does not have a livable, legal home.
That's crazy, man.
Never has. And never will on that property. Because the property has been offered to me multiple times at full 1.66 acres with them all being booted. She will never have a livable, never have a legal home on that property. They are going to be moving off the property. Whether a sheriff does it, whether the marshals do it, they will be removed from that property. So as we get into the next set of questioning on the home and what this all looks like, as we've already had questions about.
Dude, Senegan Chief, by the way, let me get to hey, brother. It's good to see you. I was asking about you yesterday. That's 71 months, by the way, man. Wow. I'm still kicking, so the months still accumulate. Stint came out. Recovery is going well, so it should be up to 95% health by Sunday. That's good, man. That's good. I'm glad to hear from you, brother. I was, I worry about any of you when you get ill, but that's rough stuff, man. So I'm glad to hear it, man. I am glad to hear it.
Out names, and we've had questions on, is there anything that would affect your recollection, your ability to remember? And remember, you may have already seen the previous 2 videos in this series. There are new people all the time that have never seen anything, which is why we go back through a summary, because you are not the only viewer, even though you are viewing right now. There are tens of thousands of viewers. There is going to be arguments. There are going to be interruptions, and I can't reenact the interruptions. I will try and point them out to you, but we get into massive interruptions to where even saran wrap, Lynette's own legal counsel, that Deuce, Fleesa, frauded, not my word, Fleesa's word, frauded.
Yep.
People out of over $6,000.
That's what I've been saying. That's her word. So Megan was like, where'd that word come from? Yep. Exactly. But the question that I have with this is, Lynette's not listening to her own counsel, right? I mean, that's become abundantly clear from this stuff. Who is she listening to? Well, she told us not too long ago that the only way that she learns about cases and the only way that she learns about what she should do is from watching the 2L show. The same people that she wanted to put in jail, by the way, at one time. So make that make sense, right? But yeah, makes you wonder, She's not listening to her own counsel. Is she listening to these people? Because those people wouldn't blink twice if she ended up in trouble. In fact, I do wonder with many of these folks where she has talked smack about them, or where they have numbers of reasons, let's just say, that her going to jail wouldn't hurt them. So makes you wonder why you would take the advice of those kind of people. Told her, and myself told her, have you talked to a lawyer? Somebody outside. I can't afford that. I can't afford that. And like, you can't afford not to. Oh, Lord. I mean, she wants to take the advice of people that don't have her best interest. Hey, that's her prerogative. But man, what a nut.
The term is defrauded. We're using fleesa vocabulary today. The toothless, fatty fleesa. File it, fatty. So Randy is asking the
so
questions.
mad about
has
him
to
saying that the other
reemphasize
day.
Lynette. He's asking the questions. He asked, what home? Where have you owned property? What home? And Lynette says, I'm in a house now. And Randy goes, what does that mean? She says, the property I have now. Randy goes, there's no house on that property.
So she's calling that a house.
There's a shell.
Yeah.
Shell thing. A barn shell
thing.
Concrete pad.
I didn't
and
think
there is a metal barn shell
on
that property. There are no permits. There's no occupancy permit whatsoever. They're illegally living on the property right now. You're only allowed to live in a camper for so many months, so many weeks while you're building. They are not building. She says, yes, there is. I own that property, and I believe I own a house in Liberty Center, Iowa. She brings up Liberty Center, Iowa now. She owned a house in Liberty Center, Iowa. And he goes, okay. Did you have a contract? Did you ever own any property in North Florida? Oh, North Florida. She remembers Florida. No, Northport, Florida. Not North Florida, Northport, Florida. She finally remembers. Randy has to literally tell her that she owned property in Northport, Florida. She says, well, yes, but I'm not here to answer those questions. Yeah, she is.
That's actually part of it.
This is about homesteading. This is about whether she legally can homestead the property or if it's illegally homesteaded. And the federal bankruptcy court trustee already agrees with us, as is her legal representation. There is no legal homestead on this property at all. None of it. Not even the half acre in the incorporated Otter Creek, which again, I can't stress this enough. The smartest thing Otter Creek could ever do is unincorporate. It would have benefited Lynette. She's too dumb.
And she fought it.
All right.
It's amazing.
So we go on in the questioning, and he says, listen,
by the way, let me catch a few of the super chats with that. Yeah, Max Lab got AC with successful fundraiser. That's funny. Yeah, they well, one person at least, right, can do it. Not like them. Dan thinks of the five. She should change her the name of her channel from Standing in the Truth to Standing in the Manua. Well, standing in the truth, usually that's what it sounds like. Not standing, usually stand on the truth. You don't stand in it. It's not like stepping in a pile of cow crap, Cynic, thanks for the tip. Hey, thank you for everyone for the prayers. They worked indeed, man. You got a lot of friends, brother. I very much appreciate you, man. Very much. Gene, thank you for the 9 months. Ooh, look, you're birthing a membership. Woohoo. I love it. I love the 9-month jokes too. Also dropped a gifted membership. Thank you, Gina. That is awesome. And $10 there. Thank you. There's not a statement. Man, that's a big statement. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm trying to catch them as they come in today. That way, if there's pertinent comments on
asking
the video,
you don't come back and ask me, a house in Northport? After Randy goes, what about Northport? I'm asking you the questions. Randy reemphasizes. I'm taking a timeline.
Yep.
I'm trying to get you to answer questions in a timeline. She goes, you're saying, did I ever own property under the name Lacey Alexis? Yes, I did. Remember, we have the whole name now. If you didn't get through the whole 45 minutes of a deposition about a name, that was the previous episode. You can go back. They're all in alignment based on dates. She's now admitting that she actually owned property under another name, Lacey Alexis. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Remember, Lacey with an E. It's prettier. Okay, so Randy then says, you misunderstood me. I'm not even going to have the court reporter read it back at this point. And she says, you're confusing me.
Oh, no.
Yes, I owned one in Northport, and then this one. Randy steps it back. He goes, listen carefully. Again, I'm going to repeat almost word for word what we're going over. Now, you have to understand, while Randy is saying this, he's being interrupted constantly with nasty, just vile comments from Lynette. All right. He says, how many properties have you owned in your life? You said, and she interrupts him, complete and total stupidity, right? He goes, I'm not done. You said Iowa. You mentioned one in Iowa. Now you mentioned a second one that was under contract for a deed. And you've mentioned, and I had to remind you of a Northport, Florida one. And now you're mentioning this vacant land in Otter Creek. She goes, it's a rebuild. It's not a new build. It's a rebuild. It's vacant land.
Yep.
With an illegal homestead exemption on it. And there's no building going on. To rebuild something, you would be rebuilding the exact same thing. That's not what happened at all. She took down condemned structures and is attempting, or was attempting, to put up a new structure, a shell, a barn shell. He goes, thank you.
Well, and the kicker there.
Now, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just.
The kicker to that is attempting, by the way. Attempting. That's a big one from that. Hey, Deb, thank you for the 14 months, by the way. Appreciate you. Good to see you there. What's up, Blue Eyes? Appreciate you, Blue Eyes there. Thanks for 50. That's awesome. Breakfast, lunch, ice cream, candy, fireworks, whatever you choose. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I may take the girls, and who knows? A weekend is calling. So who knows? But that is awesome of you. Very, very much appreciated. Appreciate you too. Thank you. Wheezy, what's up? Thanks for the 5 there. You know, when Lynette is lying, her mouth is moving. Indeed. You know, that's one of the major kickers with all of this stuff. She lies a lot. Again, they lie and lie and lie. You know, Lynette. They made sure, by the way, to correct me. I used to call her Lynette, and they were like, no, it is lie, like the word lying, Lynette. They corrected me on that. So it's even, you know, the whole what's in a name? Well, what's in a name indeed.
Making a question here. So of all the properties that I just mentioned, have you ever owned any other properties? Have you ever used any other names other than the ones that you have said? Remember, the legal name means a lot. in legal court cases, lawsuits, such as a federal bankruptcy court.
I've never
She's
heard
interrupting
anyone
him the entire
fight
time, going off about.
legal
I mean,
name.
I can't even keep notes on it. It's just I got broken statements here, there, and everywhere. So I have everything from "Have you ever gone by blah blah blah?" I got blah blah blah. Michelle, L.A. Preston. It's really there's all kinds of gibberish here. You can't even make sense of it because she won't stop. She will not stop, and you're going to see Saran Wrap's going to make her stop here on the record. He goes, "Have you any property under the name Michelle Lynette or Michelle Alexa or Lynette Michelle Lacey Alexis?" She goes, "I sign my name, Lynette MLA." Okay. She goes, "That's how I sign my name."
Yeah, she made a big deal out of this specific thing. So what's again, they say, "Oh, well, he doesn't cover things correctly." Well, she made a big deal out of this. Look. I'll pull this back up in 1 second, but I want to pull up where she talks about this. So she, like I said, she makes this huge thing about how he was trying to make it look like I was being fraudulent and a liar because how I sign my signature. Well, how I put my name on things. My Medicare says Lynette and Preston. Other things say MLA. So it's just interesting. She's saying, with legal documentation. Again, I realize we have different signatures. Sometimes we shorten them up. Although I'm going to say it this way. Usually, unless it's a legal document that you have to put in a whole name, your signature is pretty much the same across all documentation. Most people don't sign things differently. They sign things exactly the same. We sign them hundreds, thousands of times. So you keep a pretty steady signature, right? And she's like, "Not
How
me."
you sign your name has nothing to do.
She's so bizarre.
Legal document, right? Okay, let me show you.
I think she's telegraphing something.
Give me an example here really quick. I'm getting another pad of paper. I didn't take any notes on this one, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign my name. This is my name. This is how I sign my name. Right there. Does this have anything to do with any legal document whatsoever? No, absolutely not. There's nothing legal about this. This is trash. Garbage.
Again, I think she's telegraphing something to you, though.
Just like her deposition.
I think it's really about signature.
Trash. Garbage. He says, "I didn't say anything about signing your name. So let's try this again, Randy." I didn't. And she starts interrupting again. He goes, "I didn't ask you that." I don't even know what the interruption is. I just have INT interruption. He goes, "This is the problem we're having. Legally, when you do a document," this is Randy, "I'm not asking how you signed your name. If I were to do what's called a title search, that's the reason I'm asking these questions, okay? So let me ask you again, under your legal name, when you title something," you and I get this, right? What's the legal name on Hale's headquarters? Well, it's not, used to be Jeremy Hale's. Now it's in my trust for my kids. Do you sign, or have you ever gone by Michelle, L.A., an initial, L.A. Preston? Yes, no. Randy reads off all these different initials. Now, you understand, he's going through a list that he already has. He already has all these documents and all the different ways that her name is on these documents, which are all different.
Because they already know what they're going to.
She finally goes, "Yeah." Because have you ever gone by any other legal names under real estate documents? And then she interrupts yet again. And he goes, "Do you see how you just interrupted me there? Do you see that?" And she goes, "You just asked me a question." Saran Wrap now butts in. Saran Wrap says, "Okay, Michelle, You would think he would actually be calling her Lynette, since that's her legal name, and it's already been established that's her legal name in this deposition. Saran Wrap goes, Michelle, that's enough. Whoa. Saran Wrap on the record rebukes Lynette. Michelle, that's enough. Let's bring it back. And then he apologizes, not to Lynette. He apologizes to Randy. I'm sorry I had to do that on the record. Randy says, not a problem. Randy appreciates it. And from what I recall, I think Randy put it on the record saying, I really appreciate that. You're
he definitely put it in filing
to do the right thing. And he goes on to say to Lynette, you did interrupt me. You didn't know what my question was even going to be. You assumed what the question was going to be. So now let's take half a breath before answering any questions. He's already said this so many times already. It's getting ridiculous. He says, if I do what's called a title search, I have to put in a name. And if you're using initials, that's not going to show up. It will show up under a different title search. Wouldn't you agree? So that's the premises of my question.
Not brain surgery, man. You know.
Have you ever legally had any documents in any other names where instead of spelling the names Alexis, Lacey, Michelle, Lynette, Ruby, does it actually use initials? This is a yes or no question. Now you have to understand at this point, she can't just answer yes or no. She just a word vomit. How everything is Jeremy's fault and everything is Randy's fault and everything is everybody else's fault.
So her legal strategy. So her legal strategy is to do the same thing she does online and to blame other people for her problems. Isn't that amazing? Again, you got to remember, this is her thing. This isn't like nobody asked her to file this mess. Nobody said, hey, Lynette, because if they did, if somebody else would have asked her to file this bankruptcy now, she would be blaming them for all kinds of malfeasance. She'd be saying, oh, this person, they led me astray and they tried to take everything. But since certain people did it, it's a little different. Hey, 2012, thanks for the find there. I might Rumble stream live this weekend, focus on big Bruce's big problems. If you can, feel free to use it. Get lots of fun with it. I'll check it out, man. Let me know. Send me a link to it so I can look at it. For sure. But yeah, I like the fact though that again, these people have dug a hole that Lynette. Maybe they have some master plan that the rest of us can't see. That they're going to, they're going to be like, and guess what? Dun, dun, dun. They're going to Perry Mason their way out of it. I don't know. But currently, yeah, not seeing it. Not seeing it at all.
Her legal name is Lynette Michelle Barber at birth. Then she went back to Preston. She says, yes. Okay. Oh, my goodness. We're finally getting somewhere. Thank you. Randy wants to know, what are the documents that we're talking about that have your legal name on them? So he asks, what are the documents? Right. What are we talking about? What real estate records are you using your initials? She goes, probably Northport, probably here. Well, here she's in the courthouse in Bronson, Florida. She's not even in Otter Creek, so I don't know why she's saying here. Otter Creek is what she's referring to as well. So Randy then asks, did you have to show your driver's license when you sign these documents? That's typically a thing you have to do. You have to show a legal document proving who you are so that people can notarize things such as deeds, right? You understand that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She goes, that is my signature. And that's how I sign my documents. And that's exactly how she was sounding during the actual deposition.
Lovely.
Randy goes, I'm sorry. By the way, there's no need to be yelling. I'm communicating right now. And I'm not asking you how you sign your name. Nobody cares how anybody signs their name. He is asking specific questions about specific legal documents, and she is just too dumb to grasp, to understand the most simple, basic questions posed to her. He goes on
Maybe
to say,
it's not that. Maybe there are a lot of people out there that are trying to delay this case. That's been their MO from go, delay all cases. So that actually may be what she's doing. She may be, I'm not going to say she's feigning ignorance because, well, that would be a leap because there's a, oh, these people are definitely ignorant, but she may be feigning ignorance on this specific issue at that moment. Like, oh, I can't. I mean, you notice, and she's just nasty in them anyway. One of my favorite things I've watched of hers, again, is that depo that she did back when. And in that, boy, she is nasty. So she is nasty in something. But the only wins that they ever brag about is delaying these cases. So
I'm not asking you how you sign your name. I'm going to ask, what I'm saying is when you have a legal document.
Oh, that's lovely.
And they
Check
had
this
their...
out, by the way. 2012 said, I have a client like her on Monday. It's going to say, oh, God. That sounds awful. What's up, Lisa Lee? Might smell like pee. Thanks for the tea. Emailed you a new photo of Lisa the trash sheep. I'll have to check it out. Thank you. Oh, Lord, these people.
Initials. You just said you use your initials in legal documents in Florida. You did say that, right?
Yep.
Are you texting somebody, ma'am? At this point, I could not believe it. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, is she literally getting her phone out and is she starting to text or call or record?
Is it going to be about her child?
Message. I'm on the other side on Zoom taking notes. Fervor. How do you say that word? Fervous. You know, I'm just taking notes like crazy. Words are hard sometimes.
Fervently or
especially
seriously?
If you're Lynette, Michelle, Lacey, Alexis, Ruby, LMNOP, Preston, Barber, Caridos, and a whole lot of Wilson, a lot of other names.
See, I would, if I were going to adopt a name, I would go with like Caridos or something odd, you know, something interesting. But maybe that sticks out too much, dude. I don't know. If you're going to pull out like 5 million aliases, maybe you want a basic name. It reminds me of should be a movie called The Name Collector, you know.
I can't even fathom. I can't fathom. Are you texting, ma'am? And I'm going, I cannot believe it. She goes, no, I'm looking at my license to see if it says MLA, which would be Michelle, Lacey, Alexis. Where's the Ruby? I guess she never legally put that one in there, which I'm not convinced any of this is legal in the first place. We certainly don't have any legal documents proving that her legal name is Lynette, Michelle, Lacey, Alexis, Ruby, Preston, LMNOP, QRSG, XYZ. And so he goes, okay. So if I do a search under those names, you know, a title search, a deed search, because if I do a search under those names, you identified that you had property in Northport and you used your initials.
That's the whole
point.
Because
I'm not sure, sir, whether I had initials or not. Okay, Randy wants to know. Have you ever used initials in any of your real estate documents in your life?
This shouldn't be complicated, by the way.
She goes on to say, I don't, that's, he goes, that's your answer? She goes, it's just interruption. It's insane mumbling, jumbling noises. I can't fathom, if I would have been there, how much more unhinged it really would have been. Probably would have been fun. Again, I didn't need to waste time. I didn't need to waste money, but probably would have been fun. And Randy goes, okay, so that's your answer. You
I
don't
bet if he knew that they would be there. The problem is that when you go, they end up delaying, they end up screwing around with stuff, and that ends up being an hour and pushing it back. Or they try to put in another document like they did with the protective order. You know, in fact, she was playing she was playing with the whole my child thing. My child is reported. You know, that's why she said the kid was there. So there was it was already built in where, you know, they could have had a oh, my child issue. I mean, you see why you wouldn't want to spend all that money to travel. It'd be crazy.
You don't know that you've ever signed any legal real estate documents with letters M, L, A, B, C, Q, R, S, T, U, G. Randy goes, hey,
Masters of
everybody's
language
on the Zoom meeting right now, which is Saran Wrap, her lawyer, who's already rebuked her on the record and off the record. You've got the trustee's lawyer. You've got me, and you have, well, that's who you have on Zoom. Okay. And he goes, I'm going to send you some documents. This is going to be exhibit number 1. Exhibit number 1 is a warranty deed for the Otter Creek property, this is pretty important because this is the piece of property she's claiming she has a legal homestead on. Mm-hmm. And the federal bankruptcy court trustee is saying, no, she doesn't. There is no legal homestead on this property, and they are going to seize all 1.66 acres. This is not a maybe. This is an absolute. Okay. So goes on to say this is a warranty deed for the Otter Creek property. Says, Mr. Preston, I'm going to show them to you on a screen so you can see this. Now, remember, Randy's never going to ask a question he doesn't already know the answer to. And Lynette's already been caught in lie after lie after lie after lie. Again, mother appropriately named her the right name. Says, you're reading this, right? And she says, yep. Oh, finally, we just can't get a yes. We did get a yep. And he says, she goes, I'm just looking. I want to make sure what name is on it. That my name is actually on it. Hold a second. Lynette doesn't know if her name's on her actual warranty deed for the Otter Creek Purgatory. I don't know how you make those mistakes. Randy goes, what do you see? And what are those dots? Can you identify those dots on this this warranty deed? And she goes, it says warranty deed. Okay. And Randy goes on to say, so here's exhibit number 1. You had said it's a warranty deed. She goes, yes, sir. Saran Wrap got her in check for 5 minutes. Probably not even. A warranty deed for what? Randy asked. What's this a warranty deed for? And she says, well, you identified it already as the property, I believe, in Otter Creek. Who in their right mind would ever move to Otter Creek? Now, I understand you're thinking, Jeremy, but you moved to Otter Creek. Let me clarify how I got to Otter Creek. COVID happened. George and I, from the very first day we ever met, literally sitting down at a Buffalo Wild Wings across the table from each other in booth number 87, looked at each other and said, what are your long-term goals? And we both said basically at the same time, I want to move to Florida. I don't want to do Ohio winters anymore. Both had the same goal. And then COVID happens and we both go, why are we waiting? We can afford this. We can do this. George goes, all right, where should we start looking? She goes, how much property do you want? Like 5 acres? I'm like, oh, no, way more than that. I go 50 plus. She goes, okay, I'll start looking at properties. And what we ended up doing was looking in the state of Florida I'll try to even show you, because we wanted to look in the state of Florida, but we wanted to be in the middle of all the major cities so we could get to the actual auctions. So if you look here, you'll see where it says work, but you'll see we're 2 hours from Tallahassee, we're 2 hours from Jacksonville, we're 2 hours from Orlando, we're 2 hours from Tampa, we're 2 hours from all the major cities. Not Miami. And I wanted nothing to do with Miami. I want nothing to do with the party scene or people that are part of a party scene like that. No good comes from that, in my personal opinion. No story starts with, oh yeah, I was partying and there was strong drink and there was this and there was that. They all end the same way, with tragedy and hurt. And so that's how we ended up in Otter Creek. Now, the way that Lynette ended up in Otter Creek is she was following us and then stalked us to Otter Creek. It's the only way she ever knew about Otter Creek. As a matter of fact, Randy even begins to ask questions about how she found this property. And she goes on, well, it was for tax sale. And he goes, all right, well, where'd you see it? I can't remember. Wait, hold a second. The very first question was, do you have anything that would prevent you from remembering, recalling?
That's true. That's true. She has a memory like a, oh my gosh. So she makes it sound like that she can remember anything, you know, that she remembers dates, and she remembers, she remembers anything. She said that multiple times. And now suddenly, weirdly, she can't remember. Oh, anything. Oh, Lord. It's crazy. 2012, thanks for the 2. Prayers for Young Walton. Doug Love from Chad. Hey, of course. You know what? Love to you. I don't know particularly what's going on there, but you definitely have our love. You have our prayers. And you know what? You always have a place to chill too. If life, just like for any of you, you know, if life feels crazy or anything, remember you have a place to chill as well. Hang out in 2012. Noted. Thanks for the dare. I always hated MLA. Now, yeah, of course. I always hated the MLA versions of stuff. Yeah, always hated having to go over it. Ugh.
Any information today in this deposition, but let's keep going on it, right? All right, so she goes, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to find the address. Yes, here's the address. Lynette finds the address in her own warranty deed. Go figure, right? Randy says, so you can identify that that's your warranted deed for the Otter Creek property that you claim ownership in. She says, yes. Now, there's a whole lot more being said and interruptions, but it begins again. And he says, do you see how it's listed? What's your name there on this warranty deed? And it's Lynette MLA Preston. He goes, you said those are your initials, correct? Says, yes. Didn't you sign that document? She goes, I have no idea whether you sign a warranty deed or not. Now, remember, she's already stated that she always signs her name MLA. She's stated that her name was Lynette Michelle. Then she legally changed it to Lacey Alexis. Then she became a Christian, so then she changed it to Lynette Michelle Lacey Alexis. Then she went by Ruby, which isn't even a legal change. She has 7 different husbands, 7 different divorces. She wanted number 8, but that ain't gonna happen.
Maybe I don't get the Christian. Can somebody explain that? Maybe I just don't get the Christian thing. Like, how does that change your signature? What does that mean? I don't get it. Is there something in my signature? That I should be adding if I'm a Christian? I do not get that portion, because she has said things like that before. I became a Christian, therefore. It's like, therefore what? What does that mean?
Didn't you sign that document? I have no idea. if you sign a warranty deed or not. How could she not know if you sign a warranty? Of course you.
Yeah.
All right. And Randy goes, just look down at it. Just look at the document. You'll be able to see if your signature is on there. She goes, I'm not going to scroll on your computer or laptop or something, whatever it was. She was going, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to scroll on it. I'm not doing anything to your thing. Okay. And Randy goes, you have to sign the document, right?
Sexy for your device, Randy.
He goes, your license doesn't say initials? She goes, no. He goes, okay, so I'm wondering why on this deed, if your legal license says Lynette, Michelle, Lacey, Alexis, Preston, probably a million other things as well, why doesn't this warranty deed have your legal name on it?
That's a good question.
She goes, because a lot of government agencies don't have enough room for me to write my whole name out there of Michelle, Lynette, Lacey, Alexis. They just have me initial it. Oh, now she's blaming it on the government, which I still find this. I never talk about politics. It's just not my thing. Okay, it's not my wheelhouse to talk about. Yes, I have a leaning. You can figure it out. I'm an entrepreneur. Lynette and Crook are obsessed, okay, with Donald Trump. And Deucey Boy is obsessed with what the hales and Donald Trump. He thought he was going to get rich and become famous off of them. They would never, ever in the real world ever get along. Ever. And in the real world, they don't. They don't even, I guarantee you, the communication is minimal at best. If anything, it's a threat anymore. It's a threat from Deuce. It's a threat from Lynette. Lynette's threatening Deuce, going, if you don't do this, I'm going to tell them this. And Deuce is threatening Lynette. If you don't do this, then you're going to get sued by me for this. That's Deuce threatening another lawsuit.
I can imagine how fun that would be.
So government agencies tell her now to put in letters instead of her legal name. And he goes, but this is a deed. Do you see how this is where, and she interrupts, she goes, they wrote it! They wrote it! I didn't! Okay. He goes on to say, I can see where this is going to be particularly difficult today.
You know, it was really telling.
Deed
It was really telling. You hear the even in recollection, he's like, this is crazy. You gotta admit that's pretty funny. Like, oh my God. The exasperation. That has got to be really like Randy wise. Can you imagine again? Randy like gearing up for it yet again. It's like, this woman is freaking crazy.
There are letters and not your legal name. She says, yes. Yes. So you're saying that it's your testimony that the reason why your initials are on this deed is because the government couldn't put your full name on the deed. Whoever wrote that up, that's who decided to put MLA.
It's the government's fault.
Because that's how I sang my name. What government official is just going to put MLA? No one. They're going to ask you, I own enough property. The question is always the same. How do you want your name on the deed? Every single time. Okay. She goes on, I can't help how somebody else wrote it. Okay. So Randy goes on, so you didn't sign this document? She goes, not that I can see. There might be another page. I don't know. I don't know, sir. Let's ask somebody. Wait. Randy goes, there's no other page. None. This is your warranty deed. So again, Randy asks, you did not sign the warranty deed, did you? Correct? And Lynette responds, not that I can see. Okay, Randy says, you're free to look at it. I literally have it right here in front of you. Everybody has this document. She goes, I'm looking, and not that I can see. Okay. So Randy has to clarify at this point. Does that mean you're saying that you signed the document and you still see it or not? What are you trying to tell me? So that you signed it, but you can't see it, or that you didn't sign it and you can't see your signature? Because this isn't a definite answer. This is a federal lawsuit. This is federal court, and you can't get a straight answer out of this thing, this creature.
So bizarre.
Oh, hi, baby girl. I have a visitor. I have a visitor with her Grandpa Jeremy bike.
Hey, look
and
at
I'm
that.
going to have to take a pause because she doesn't need to hear about these things.
Right.
Right, baby girl?
Uh-oh. I had raiders trying to come in.
Said, going in reverse. Bye, baby member. And there she goes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, she's so cute. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going on. We're going to keep going. It was a good distraction. It was a good distraction. All right. She goes, no, I did not sign it. If it's not there, I didn't sign it. I'm not understanding because I have lots of warranty deeds. Okay. So Randy goes, all right, so let's go back again to what I was saying. Why does a name, which is not your legal name, show up on this deed? And Lynette goes, why don't you ask the person who wrote it? Little Gollum, right?
It's so I have seen some nasty lawyers in my time. I've dealt with some nastiness from lawyers in my time, and Randy, again, is not very difficult to deal with. He is pretty calm. You've seen how he treated Lynette the first time. He treated her with kid gloves, really. He was really nice to her. He even went out of his way to make sure, depot-wise, if she was actually going to have lawyers in that first one where she kept claiming that she had the ability to have to bring them back, like he was going to postpone. I mean, he's been over backwards for it. He's getting sick of this mess. He is, and you cannot rightly blame him. You can only be asked to put up with so much. You've got to remember too, in both the actions, not just this, but in both the actions where she's acted like a buffoon, they were actions that she brought. This bankruptcy is an action that she brought. So when she acts like this, again, it's wild because she's essentially, she's mad at someone else because they're not allowing her to write off the tens of thousands of dollars in cost from one lawsuit, the even more from other lawsuits without, doing something. She thinks that she should just be able to go in to file this stuff away and it's good to go. She doesn't, she complains about it. She's like, I can't even file a simple bank. Well, it's not a simple bankruptcy. You're not fighting against the bank. You're not fighting against medical costs, things like that. You're fighting against people who you did some pretty nasty stuff with. So, good luck. Good luck. Let's continue.
Randy says, did you tell someone that was your name? And why he's asking this, she interrupts again. By the way, all these questions and answers back and forth, there's interruptions. I just can't portray the interruptions like it was actually happening. And you're going to see Saran Wrap at the end of this line of questioning is going to say, we need another break. I have to call her. Can we please get another break?
That's crazy.
So she goes, I don't know if I said I go by Lynette Michelle. I gave them my driver's license. Now, didn't we already get testimony from Lynette that her driver's license says Lynette Michelle Lacey Alexis,
right?
So on and so forth. That's weird. So she gave him the driver's license that has her full name written out. She signs with letters, and yet a warranty deed has letters, which isn't her legal name. You see, this is a massive, massive problem for her. Does she even legally own this property that the federal bankruptcy court is going to seize? And the federal bankruptcy court is going to sell all 1.66 acres. Okay.
Typically, I don't cheerlead the government trying to mess with your crap either. I just find it really, really funny that, remember when they did this, remember how all this came about? They gather $6,000. They say that there's going to be a lawyer, an agency that's going to come in. They're going to handle all the cases. They make it sound like you're going to have one set of lawyers come in and they're going to defend everything with $6,000, which is one of the most utterly crazy things I was like, oh my God, I've got to see this, right? I've got to see like what kind of buffoonery we're going to bring in. Well, they don't actually bring in anybody. Instead, they file bankruptcy. When they do, they have cheerleading streams talking about how this is the smartest and best thing ever. You know, they're going to be able to, Lynette, she's just going to be able to discharge everything. She's never going to get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And she's going to walk with everything. Now you look at it and she's in very real situation where she may lose everything. And again, she is still pointing her finger, not at the people who said, hey, this is a good idea, but rather at the people that were like, maybe this is a dumb idea, Lynette. You shouldn't do this. It's those people's fault. Okay.
Well, your driver's license doesn't have those initials in it, right?
What a crazy.
But that's how they wrote it? She goes, I didn't write that paper. I did not write that. Okay. Did you use a title company? Randy wants to know, did you use a title company? She goes, yes. What was the name of the title company? She goes, I had an attorney. Now, keep this in mind. She literally says, I had an attorney. She's going to go on later to go, I don't have an attorney. This is the same as my mom died. My mom didn't die.
Right.
And every other insane lie in this woman's life. Okay, so what was the name of the title company? She goes, I had an attorney, or the attorney. I had an attorney. Okay. If it was through an attorney, she goes, Bennett Law Firm, I believe. I'm not sure. Ooh. Randy says, thank you. He's finally getting an answer for something. Remember, 45 minutes just to try and get what our legal name is, which you and I would have answered in seconds.
Yep. It's not a complicated question. What is your legal name?
He goes, thank you. So we don't want you guessing. You never want to be guessing in a deposition. We want actual answers. Remember, Randy states this beginning of every single deposition. We're all here for one thing, the truth. That's what we all want, the truth. Okay. So she goes, Bennett Law, I believe. So the lawyer, she says, the lawyer that was involved, the lawyer. I don't even know how she does it, how she screams. And then she goes, oh, I lose my voice. She loses her voice because she screams nonstop.
Yeah.
The lawyer that was involved with a property name Bennett Law Firm. Okay, so that's your lawyer? She goes, no. You realize, questioning just earlier, she said she had a lawyer. Now she says she didn't have a lawyer. My mom died. My mom didn't die. John's the only one that can watch the child. No, John is a sexual accoster.
Yeah.
Oh. It goes back and forth nonstop. It's insanity. There's only one person in my life.
By the way, okay, there was a big thing about this too. So again, during the whole somebody called CPS, which again, do not encourage anything like that. I would not be shocked. Again, who benefits from it? Who benefits from it? Who needs the clickeries that brings them up? Not saying anybody did it, just saying who benefits the most from it? Who's been accused, like we talked about. But with that, they were talking about last night. If she said something like this, oh, well, essentially shame on her. And if this is true, then shame on. Dude, they've been saying this stuff for years. Years. You realize that. There are letters where she has said this shit. Either it's true or it's not. Either way, it's a problem. She is either a false accuser, which is a problem, or you are dealing with a predator, which is again a problem. Holy shit. That drives me crazy. Just to hear this stupid, because I mean, it's not some hidden thing. This has been around for years. Her own words. They lie about not hearing it. They have heard this for years, just like the rest of us have. They just choose to freaking ignore it. It drives me nuts.
To this level of insanity. Her? I didn't even know people could get this bad. Okay, so no. Randy goes, thank you. You said it was your lawyer that worked on this title. She goes, no, I didn't. It's literally in the record. There's a court reporter. Everything I'm sharing with you, court reporter transcripts are all coming out. Okay, so did you have a word with this Bennett guy? Nope. They had a lawyer. It was their lawyer dealing with the property. I believe it was Bennett Law Firm. Okay. Did you tell somebody at Bennett Law Firm who was not your lawyer that your name is Lynette M.L.? Can't even get it all out. The question. She interrupts him. I gave him my driver's license. Are you not confused like I am? Because she already gave testimony under oath that her driver's license has no letters. It has her legal name on it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that if anybody's missing the point in that, she's saying that she had a firm fill it out, and they filled it out based on her driver's license. But her driver's license doesn't have letters like that. She's the one who signs like that. So where would it have come from? Would it have come from a company that, again, that kind of stuff is not on? Or would it have come from, I don't know, the person who signs their stuff like that? It's so nuts.
Okay. Whatever they wrote. Randy goes, okay.
Whatever they wrote.
So it's your testimony here today that when you got the title records, in this case, you gave them your driver's license, and whoever prepared the deed on their own, with no prompting from you whatsoever, they went ahead and shortened Michelle, your legal name, to an M, Lacey, your legal name, with an E because it's prettier, to an L, and Alexis, which is your legal name, to an A. Is that right? She goes, I don't recall. So you don't know, Randy says. Okay, that's better. If you don't know, that's the answer we need. You don't know.
Yep.
It's either a yes or no, or I don't know. Okay. Now, Randy he's just changing things up a little bit. He goes, I want to know, did you meet with anybody? Did you meet with anybody at all in preparation of this deposition. And she goes, what do you mean? I don't know what. He goes, let me make it easier for you. Other than your attorney, did you meet with anyone else to prepare for this deposition? Did anybody tell you what to say, how to say, what?
Which she tries, by the way, to make this question something bad too. Like she's being accused of lying. She threw this out there as well. He asked me that too. Have you spoken to anyone prior to this depo? Has anyone told you what to say in the depo? That is one of the most basic deposition questions you will ever run across. So, you know, when you're asked that, they ask you, you know, what you use to prep, which they have a right to ask you about, like what documents that you use to remind yourself of. They have the right to have access to all of that. So, I mean, again, she uses this as some kind of victim narrative, which again, this is one of the most basic things that you will run across. It's just, it's unreal. I was reading one of her posts. When I said that, by the way, I was reading her actual post.
Not to say, she goes, no. He goes, okay. So your current address, your residential address is Turd Purgatory in Otter Creek, Florida. And she says, yes. And he goes, what's your birth date? Date of birth. She says, she gives her birth date, born in 62. And he goes, that's August 5th, 1962. Yes. Okay. Did you receive
the other comment? This is the other thing that we've run into from all of this stuff, all of it, the confrontational nature. All right. Again, how do I put this? How do I put it the best way? The lawyers from the other sides of stuff that I've ever had to deal with, I hated them. I hated them not because of who they were or what they were asking, but because of what they represented. You know, they represent the interests of someone else who is trying to, from your point of view, usually cause your problems. That's how most people view it, right? However, the majority of us, when we go to court, we understand that we still have to play by specific rules. For Lynette, she doesn't do that. And the reason she doesn't play by specific rules is because she has never been held accountable. She also, as I've noted this a couple of times, but this is a very important thing too. You know why most people take the advice of the lawyers that they have? Because they paid for it. It's not cheap. You know, it's very expensive, in fact. So when you or I are out there and we're ditching like thousands, tens of thousands, sometimes more, you know, that we're paying out for representation, when we're having to do that, most of us are going to follow the advice of the people that we've hired for things. You know, I mean, that makes sense, right? But not her. You know why? Because she's never paid for anything like that. Other people always foot the fucking bills. Maybe people should stop doing that. Maybe people should make them, if they had to pay their way once, then they might freaking approach something a little different. If every time they had to reschedule something, like this, for example, if every time they wasted people's time, if every time they put in a protective order or anything, it cost them $300 to $600, you know, they wouldn't do that very often. You know, if you're having to talk to, I tell you, you talk to your counsel as much as you have to, but you're not talking to them every single day. Like the stuff that we were hearing with her and her counsel was absolute lunacy. I cannot imagine being on the phone every fucking day for a year with my counsel, because that would be 100 almost $200,000, you know, just in phone conversations. But this person, again, doesn't pay for any of it. So, of course, they don't, you know, they don't respect it. They don't respect they also don't respect their lawyers' times or anything, which after a while, I feel like is also a statement about them. Because if they don't respect your time and you allow them not to respect your time, well, then I think I think that's a statement on you.
In preparation or in preparing for this deposition today, he goes, no. All right. So do you claim an ownership and an interest in this real estate property located in Otter Creek Avenue? She goes, yes. Now, understand there's much more than the yes and the no's. They're screaming. There's interrupting the whole thing. I can't stop it. It's what it is. What percentage ownership interest do you claim in this property in Otter Creek? Oh, boy. And now it gets really crazy. The truth is starting to come out. She says on record, it was supposed to be 100% in her name. But they screwed it up and it didn't get logged in as that.
So see, that is why the discussion about deed came up. Like, really think about that. So everything's supposed to be in her name. You know, I've thought a lot about what that would mean, but I'm not going to. I don't think I want to say like too much to help them out on that.
Now, her answer is going to change further down the questioning, as you're going to see, which then Saran Wrap is going to frantically go, we need a break, because he knows she's busted for perjury.
Yep.
She goes, but it got logged in at 50% ownership, 50-50. That would be 50% Lynette, 50% Crook. Oh, we find out later that Crook never paid a single penny on the property.
Wild, isn't it?
Frankly, I can understand that, because at one point, Hale's headquarters was in.
That's interesting, right? So John Cook didn't pay $1 for the property there. Now, again, what she does with her money and everything else would typically be her business. You know, 100%, absolutely. But the issue becomes the way that she's gone. Again, I don't know how to stress this enough. They were attacking someone else too. I'm trying to remember who it was that they were trying to go after, because, oh my God, in the past they filed bankrupt. These people, they're so funny in the way that they treat things. They treat filing bankruptcy like it's some kind of federal crime. You know, oh my God, you know what? Other people have filed bankruptcy. No shit. You know, I filed bankruptcy in the past. Hell yeah. You know, and just to be honest, like fuck a hospital or any other place that, you know, typically any typical place that you deal with, who cares? Like this is not typical though. This is anything but. What we're looking at with all of this stuff is we are looking at the byproduct of lawsuits where people have had to spend exorbitant amounts of money. And some of them are because of her behavior or her counsel's behavior. Again, her counsel bragged that they cost Jeremy Hales 5 months of time. You know, they were very thrilled by the notion that they were costing him time, which was costing him money. I mean, they were all so thrilled to brag about that stuff. So, I mean, when you think about that, I don't have any empathy or sympathy for them. Again, they want to cost somebody, first of all, everything they own. They want to cost them their business, their sponsors, their reputation, and more. And then they want to cost them exorbitant amounts of money. They want to go out of their way to try to break them financially. And ultimately, the reason that they do stuff like that, in my opinion, isn't just gotcha. It's to break a person. I think they tried to break Jeremy Hales to the point that I think they tried to drive him to a really bad end. And they didn't. It didn't work out. Instead, he just he kept fighting them. He wasn't going to take it from them, which is good. But they tried it. So, the sympathy that they want, you or I to have for it, no, not at all. Not at all. This doesn't work for me. Anyway, let's continue.
Mine and George's name. And while it was supposed to be 50-50, there was never a penny paid on the property, which then got moved into the trust, which is one of the reasons why. So I can understand when you're with somebody and you're putting things in each other's names because you're together and one person isn't paying towards it. And then maybe you have another plan and it goes in a trust, it's a legacy. It's a legacy. For my beautiful, beautiful peacocks. It's a legacy for my peacocks. Okay. So Randy then goes, okay, when you say log, what does that mean? I mean, if they logged it in
right
50-50 and you're telling me they screwed this thing up, what does log mean? Because let's look at it again. Can you show me where it says 50-50? And Lionel goes, what did you even look at? I don't know where it says it, but if it says it on the record, then it happened at the recorder's office. Oh, okay. Now, I do want to address something because there's a lot of people right now taking information and screenshots from the recorder's office. The recorder's office, not the actual deed. The recorder's office. Remember, she's the one that said it's supposed to be 100%. And that the recorder's office screwed it up and put it 50-50. People are pulling information from the recorder's office and putting it all over the internet right now. You don't have the actual warranty deed. Because, as you're going to see here, Randy says, okay, well, you see this stamp in the upper left and right corners of this document? It's recorded. She goes, yes, and it was recorded as 50-50 ownership, and that's all I know, and that's what we told them. Oh, whoa. Do we got another lie here? Because Lynette just said under oath that it was supposed to be 100% in her name.
That's crazy. So she claimed it was supposed to be 100%, and then she claimed that we told them blah, blah, blah. You know what's weird? And you see transcripts of this stuff. Like Lynette doesn't have just lies on stuff. She doesn't just have like a lie or two. Like she'll, and you won't have like time between it or anything. You'll have a lie on the books as soon as some sentences have come out of her mouth. It's such a bizarre thing. I've never seen anyone like Lynette with this. I mean, she brazenly lies sometimes. And again, you hear that, but when you really experience her lying, it's funny when the antis, they spend a lot of time taking up for stuff that she says. And she accuses them of some pretty awful shit too. So if Lynette is not a liar, then I guess where she accused them of stealing lots of money and shit like that, I guess that's all true, right? Case closed, right, baby? Case closed. These people, Lynette can only be one or, she can either, she is a liar when she's saying all of this stuff, or, you're picking and choosing. Well, that doesn't work as much, does it? Anyway, let's continue.
Recorder's office. And now she's telling Randy that they told them it was supposed to be 50-50. Here we go again. My mom died. My mom didn't die. Randy says, okay, let's look again. The top of this document. She goes, well, I see at the very top. I don't know where it says 50-50. If it's 50-50, we can call the In other words, it doesn't say 50-50. The actual warranty deed at the top does not say 50-50. She can't even find it. He has a copy of the actual warranty deed. She can't find it. She goes, we can call the recorder's office.
So if it doesn't say that on the deed, then that's a problem. That's a big problem for her. It's a big problem where again, these are her. I don't know how to stress this any better. This was her game. She wanted to play this game. She wanted to play chicken with somebody that would fight there. Hey, Lorraine, what's up? Thanks for the 5. So good to hear you, Tug. Missing so much info. Mug. Still an RV road. I'll catch it when I can. Indeed. Hey, Lorraine, you enjoy yourself. When you come back, it'll all be here. The madness keeps going. This, if you're looking at it right now and you're like, man, this looks like we're moving forward, right, Tug? Well, not really, because we found out a bunch of stuff here. Yes. Which it definitely gives you a disclosure, but the problem with it is Lynette didn't finish everything she was supposed to. They have a spin to it saying, actually, Randy, Randy, of course. Randy, he wants to have to come back over and over again. Like his client, I'm sure, wants to have to deal with Lynette over and over again. Like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They're like, Randy, he got really frustrated. Well, why would he get fucking frustrated with these people? I wonder, even with their own spin, I very seriously doubt things were like they spun it. But why would somebody get irritated with Lynette Preston? Why? Because she can't freaking string 2 sentences together without lying about something. I mean, she lies a lot. When you experience the level of lies, it's crazy. Like I said, I'm not surprised by some of the lies, but I'm surprised by how casual they are. Again, they'll lie about anything. She lies about everything from names, interview, anything. Because she doesn't want you to ever be able to lock down any kind of truth is inconvenient to her. Huh?
I got 2 questions.
Wait 1 second. Yeah.
1, anything while I'm up here for 1, and for 2, why is there a techno drum on the counter?
Oh, there's a what? Oh, yeah, that's audio picked it up.
Nice.
Yeah, I talked to her about it. Okay. Yeah, talk to her about it. It's cool, huh? Yeah. We went to the toy store today, and as has been noted many times, the oldest loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? And she wants a Technodrome, which is a toy from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She's been like, I want an original like $200. But anyway, the little one found an incomplete later release of one, and she got it for a really good price. By the way, if you're in this area or even close to this Tennessee area, there's a place called Beamba. It's BEAMBA Toys. I like them because they're good prices, but they also do trade-ins and stuff. So for me, if I have a bunch of, I like to move and trade things, and I like to pick up stuff, and if I want something different, later on I trade it in, and they do pretty good trade in. But anyway, the little one got that $20 knockoff, and that's what she just noticed it. She was like, "Hey, why is this teardrum here?" It's so funny. But like I said, it's a later release, but still. So she's gonna go bother the little one. It was funny because the oldest didn't want to go and do any of that today. So we went. They had something that she would like, and they had it for $20. But they also have an original, but because it's like $170. So it's like, yeah, no. But still, it's just kind of funny. Anyway, if you heard the kiddo, she was asking about that.
Said it was listed as 50-50. Randy goes, okay, let's try this one more time. The recorded instrument doesn't say any percentage of interest of ownership that you have. Is that correct? And she goes, the deed may not. But whether the document says it or not, the recorder's office said 50-50. You understand, Randy has a document right now, the actual deed, and there is no 50-50 whatsoever. It is 100% in Lynette, MLA, who doesn't exist. This is not a legal person. This is not a legal name. So we have a legal document with a non-legal name with 100% ownership with Lynette. But a recorder's office then put on documents later 50-50 because Lynette says
she said
it up, but then she goes on to say, well, we told them 50-50. Too late. It ain't there. Just because the recorder's office recorded it and you're pulling screenshots from the recorder's office does not mean it's on the actual real legal document.
That's absolutely true. Well, that's the problem with offices, right? Too. That is crazy, because ultimately what you're dealing with here is you're dealing with something that's a self-report. So in the self-report, she's saying, but later I corrected it in the self. Okay, well, what about the actual document? So this could be a real problem for her. We'll see. Again, we'll see. And I'm sure the people around her were like, yeah, it's not a problem at all. Well, the thing is, what have they been wrong on so far, Lynette? See, I would be terrified that I would lose everything. And again, when you blame somebody, I'm sure she will blame Jeremy Hales. But this was her master plan. And they didn't just do it. They went and they mocked Hales with it. If you watched this play out, it wasn't just a case of we wanted out of a lawsuit, therefore. No, they mocked him with it. They were like, ha ha ha, we beat you with this. We beat you. So yeah, I mean, they motivate you. Like that kind of thing. When you spit in someone's face repeatedly, you motivate them. That would be really good motivation for somebody to come back and be like, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to wreck you for it. They always complain about him too. It reminds me again of the same complaints we've heard about other people. I remember with the Depp mess, all of that. They talked about Depp, and they would use some of the same descriptors as they would with Hales. They'd be like, oh, Depp he's litigious. He's really okay. Well, litigious, that means, by the way, you sue a lot. That's what they're saying. This person is prone to suing people. Okay, well, if a person is prone to suing people, then why would you push them and make fun of them? And not just that, again, I'm not talking about like mocking their name, or who cares? You know what? To be honest, this would be the thing. If these lawsuits were just about Lynette Preston mocking Jeremy Hills or making fun of him, dude, myself and many other people would have freaking defended her on that. I know it's crazy to think, right? But it wasn't. It was about them doing a whole lot more. They wanted to burn his business down. They wanted to do all that. And then when he ends up trying to do something about it, their response to that is, well, you know what? We're going to file this bankruptcy. So this is a beast of their own design. This is a trap of their own making. And it's pretty fun to watch play out. Because again, Lynette did this to herself. She's going to end up with no property. The people around her, I think that if she has the text messages that these people sent her and all the promises that they gave her, that she would probably have a good case against some of them for promising her the world, which they're not supposed to do. They gave her legal advice that is pretty stupid. I've seen some pretty awful freaking legal advice given from these people. And the standard that they've carried. But she's not to the point. She will blame them later on. I hope Bruce is aware that will happen. Sooner or later, she will. When Bruce is not useful anymore. When 2L already, again, 2L, we know what 2L did, but, well, they made it clear when they had no use for them anymore, they turn on each other. So she will come after 2L. She will come after Bruce and all of them, and that'll be fun to watch. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, we've been holding this card back for a little while.
That's an interesting
Yes,
card.
we've known for quite some time. Okay.
That's a big gotcha.
Randy goes, the recorder's office is not a document. The recorder's office is not a legal document. When you look something up on the recorder's office website, that's not a legal document. I'm showing you the legal document right now. When you recorded the deed, she goes, yes. She starts interrupting him. They asked you, do you have a percentage of ownership in this property? She goes, we were asked that, and we said we both own it 50-50. Hold a second. Again, remember, earlier answer, it was supposed to be 100% in her name, and they screwed it up at the recorder's office. And now she states that they told the recorder's office it's all supposed to be 50-50.
She can't
Randy goes,
stuff.
Don't you know this deed? It was presented to you. Is the recorder's office gets the information from you. She goes, I don't know. I don't know who did it. And I know it says right there, Bennett Law Firm. They are the ones that put it in. So if they did it, they made the mistake of 50-50. Or at this point, I don't even know what the mistake is. Is it supposed to be 50-50 or is it supposed to be 100% in Lynette's name? I'm not even sure Lynette knows at this point because she knows she doesn't want it 100% in her name because then she knows that the federal bankruptcy is going to seize.
But you know what? She doesn't want it in John's name either. That's the other kicker. Every time she's presented with something, she doesn't want it in John's name. She's made this very clear. She has said it repeatedly. The question is why? I also, man, John, do you have a humiliation fetish or something? Honestly, is that what you have? Because you stick around this woman that calls you just some of the worst things ever. And again, he'll come out and try to attack dog anybody for her, but the one person that he never gets taken up for is himself. I mean, she said some awful things about John Cook. Even when she was trying to walk back some of the stuff she said. So when she talked to me, she said, he's not a physical abuser, but he is a mental and verbal abuser. So She accuses him of all types of stuff. And she has said in the past with other things that he is those other things too. He doesn't even, he's like a whipped dog. He reminds me of the dogs that they put the electro collars on. He reminds me of one of them because that dog, it has been beaten down enough that it knows its place. And I would feel bad for him, except he is such an utter piece of shit. Yeah, you see, last night too, I think this bears noting. They decided as part of the quote unquote CPS thing, they decided they would come after Ashley yet again. And I thought the statements there were they were so dumb because they were like, Ashley, is this the kind of stuff you agree with? And I kept thinking, this is somebody that has talked about Lynette Preston being an abuser. So maybe you shouldn't take somebody that has told you that this person is abusive and, try to throw shit in their face like that. Maybe that's not just the wrong approach. Maybe that's not just a terrible, terrible look, but maybe, when they're saying that they were abused by this person, maybe that should bother you too. But it doesn't. It doesn't bother. Again, can do no wrong. Even when they're presented with accusations from folks. But they decided that they would go after Ashley yet again. I still need to read what Lynette posted about Ashley the other. My God, it is insane what she put out there into the public too. All of this stuff. But let's continue here. Oh, by the way, let me Silver Fox, thank you for the 5 there. I wonder what name was on her SSI checks. That's a good. It's such an interesting, weird thing. Isn't this bizarre? Like all of you out there, are you like me and you're like, this is such a. If the reason I watch all of this stuff is because I'm invested in the insanity. I honestly, I kind of can't get enough of the crazy with this case. The people that have kind of merged around it. Again, I'm not a party to their case. So I watch it and I tell you, they don't like what I have to say, which is, they're right. They don't have to like what I say. I don't really like most of them either, but they're just such a bizarre collection of weirdos. Oh, anyway, let's continue. I'm amazed by this. Oh, wait, let's see. Also, Ian, thank you for the vibe. Hi. Our work, thank you. Hey, well, I appreciate that, first of all. Yeah, this right now, this is the kind of stuff I'm very intrigued by with these videos. I'm very intrigued by how this plays out. I do. I want to see how it plays. So I've invested a lot of time in it, as many of you have too, because I want to see. In my opinion, I know what the truth is behind them. I've seen enough documentation there. I also know what kind of people that we're dealing with a lot of these folks. But having a court agree with you, well, that's kind of different too. In 2012, thanks for the tip. Cook has a micro peen, is looking for a manservant. Yes, he is looking for a manservant. And his micro peen, well, that wouldn't be surprising. He likes to talk about his little friend, his very little friend a lot. It's kind of disturbing, But anyway, let's continue.
Which we are now at a third conversation with the federal bankruptcy trustee trying to get me to buy Turd Purgatory, which I do not want. I have the 70 acres across the street up for sale because I never want to be on that road again. So now she's blaming
you got to question this too.
Okay,
if the property goes up for sale, that doesn't mean that they're going to leave. You know, I think that's something a lot of people have not considered. You know, there are a lot of folks they think that, well, if you can just get the property, then everything's over, right? No. I mean, what keeps these people from lingering around? What keeps them from lingering at other property or doing this, that, or the other? Like, that's something I very much wonder, like, in people's mind, do they think, where do they think they'll go? You know, they weren't on the property to begin with. They were at a campground. So what's to keep them from trying to do the same thing? I don't see them leaving. I actually, in fact, as these people get to the point where everything is being lost, I think that they become very dangerous. Cook has said, as you get up there in years, you know, life in, again, I'm paraphrasing, but life in prison means less and less. And it makes you wonder, when somebody's saying things like that, what are they willing to do? Because again, John Cook was stating that behind the scenes, that he's essentially saying that I'm not afraid to do something that would give me life in prison because I'm old. Life ain't that long. Now, again, I personally, he's not much of a man, but I've seen a lot of not much of men's pick up pew-pews and do pretty horrible things. So that is a worrisome sign. You know, as these people get more and more desperate, they can be more dangerous, I think, than people want to give them credit for. Anyway, let's continue here.
Would love to know that their name's being thrown under the bus in a federal
Yeah, that's true too. The law firm is definitely getting their name thrown around like they're trash.
We're not married when we bought it. Randy goes, does it even say married? She goes, we're not married. I thought Crook was her soulmate.
Well, also too, you don't have to be married to have a property with somebody if you put them on. I'm curious, what is she trying to say? Is she trying to say that they don't have, that they're, I mean, it's very strange. Lynette, what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to say that he does own it? Because I know you don't want him on the property. Like, you can tell that she really, really does not want him as a partial owner. She wants it all as hers. But at the same time, if she's saying that she's going to end up losing everything, you know, not doing a 50-50 split, she's going to do 100, like she's going to end up splitting it 100% with Jeremy Hales. So I don't understand what her narrative for this stuff is. I'm confused. Like, and I think maybe she's confused too. Like, she doesn't even know what the hell she's saying half the time. It's bizarre. Anyway, let's continue.
You find your soulmate, do everything you can to hang on to him. It's very rare. Those two are not soulmates. And after 7 failures, you would think she would understand that she's not a mate for anybody's soul. She destroys people's souls. And people like that are pathetic. Randy goes on to say, I'm showing you the document for you to look at. Lynette goes, sir, you are badgering me. Yeah. Whoa. Saran Wrap goes, okay, all right. He goes, can we take a short break?
See, so this right here, again, is another instance where he cannot control his client. His client is acting out. And the reason, lawyers will ask you stuff a lot. They will ask you the same questions. Lawyers can be annoying pricks, I'm just going to be real about it. Lawyers can be. They're not there for your interests. The other side is there for their client's interests. So yeah, they can be terribly annoying, but you have to deal with it. I remember them celebrating how Bruce was, by the way. You remember when they all were so thrilled at Bruce's gotchas? You remember how excited they were when Bruce went after Jeremy? I mean, they were all so thrilled about that idea. But now things are somehow it's different now. It kind of amazes me. It amazes me at the hypocrisy to it all. You know what I mean? So,
can we take a short break right now? And Randy goes, "That's okay, Jerome. We can take a short break." And then he tells Lynette, "You are not to communicate with anybody about your deposition." And he goes, "Saran, how long do you need?" He goes, five minutes. Do you want 5 minutes? He goes, "Not even. I just need 2. And he goes, "All right, not a problem." So Ranrap's going to try and reel her back in, because what I witnessed was complete and total chaos, interruptions, and hostility, vileness, even though I can't present it the way that it actually happened, and lie after lie after lie. And we're still just within the first hour and a half of the deposition that was scheduled to start at 8:30, and it ended at 11 as Lynette illegally left, which now means the federal judge can give us a default judgment against her for me because she didn't finish her deposition.
She's definitely going to have some problems off of it. This is definitely an issue. I mean, for real, this is an issue. Now, what will the federal judge do off of it? I don't know. We've seen these people cut so much slack, so you don't really know what the decision will be. But what this does for them or to them, and they don't seem to grasp this. It sets a stage. The court looks at you a specific way. And if the court has to deal with you again and again and again and again and again and again as you monopolize the court's time, well, they see you as a problem. And that's one thing you don't want. You don't want the court to see you as a problem. But Lynette Preston, again, she doesn't mind being seen as a problem because Lynette has never really been taken to task. She figures nobody will do anything about her. And so far, to be honest, so far she's been right. So she's been wrong in the way that the bankruptcy court did hit her with fines. So, I want to make that clear. She is definitely getting hit with that. And you can tell just by what we read from Randy's filing. And I'm sure Saran Wrap is not going to argue with that too, because it doesn't make him the bad guy in it. I'm sure he's not going to argue with Lynette being the one that's out of control. So in that, what we see is not just a Lynette that's out of control, but what we see is a guy, I think that he's probably wondering why the hell he's dealing with Lynette Preston. You got these people, they're doing all kinds of crazy bullshit. Again, you got Volment writing to the courts. He's writing to the courts about Trespass 5, trying to cause problems with that. You got him trying to he's kicking out articles accusing the judge's staff of all of these terrible things, which, by the way, yeah, Bruce, why would you want these people doing this? Bruce, I get, like Bruce is a very vindictive person, in my opinion, from everything I've seen. I think he's very vindictive, very, and that's okay. You can be a very vindictive person, you know. I'm not exactly a type that lets people who fuck with me get away with it. So, I mean, I do get that. However, having people go after judges and judges' staff is not just next level. That's not pettiness. That's not vindictiveness. That's stupid. That's really stupid. I don't understand what positive somebody could see in those types of actions. Like when I see these idiots writing out a freaking article about how the judge's staff is essentially, they're doing all these bad things, and they do them to somehow help out Jeremy Hales. All I can think is, Bruce, why would you have these idiots writing this stuff? I mean, I know that, again, they cracked out the they cracked out all the bots, all the sock accounts to like everything. So anyway, I don't know. When you guys see this stuff, I'm sure you think this has to be nuts. Right? This has to be stupid. Oh Lord, we're gonna read a couple of super chats in a second. I just, at a certain point, I can't help but wonder what's wrong with these people. You know, it's beyond stupid. It's beyond, again, obsessed. It's beyond petty. It's beyond crazy. Like if you read the documentation, like when Randy wrote about this, God, the description. I mean, heck, let's see. Give me the minute. Like the documents, it's wild to read over. It's wild to hear the description of. I mean, look at this. This is so nice. Check this out here. Give me 1 second. When you read through it again, looking at again, they're asking to compel resumption. They tried to make a big deal out of this too, by the way. They were like, oh my God, Randy, he wrote it so fast, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he put it in front of the court right away. It showed the court that she wasted lawyers' time. She wasted the court's time. She wasted the reporter's time. So she wasted all of these people's time, but it's a bad thing that they go ahead and put it on the record right away. But it's crazy to even read what is noted in there. I mean, listen to this. So on July 7th, 2026, again, this is official court record for it. The debtor's deposition was reset and commenced at 8:30 a.m. Now that tells you, like right off the bat, remember too, before this, she was on social media. She was talking about how she was not going to be there on time. Her kid needed blah, blah, blah. And it didn't matter to her about all this other stuff. So even then there was the question of, will she even show up? Which I was, to be honest, I was like, no way she's not going to show up. But at the same time, I was 50-50 on. I had no idea. You never know. I mean, you never know with this woman. But she did. She ends up showing up. But even with their own description of it, she brings plenty of crazy. So despite the good faith efforts of her own counsel to control her behavior. So despite Saran Wrap's, his attempts to try to restrain her, to try to keep her behavior in check with multiple notes about what she's been, hey, you've got to do this. You have got to act right. Despite doing that, the debtor repeatedly interrupted the undersigned while questions were being asked. We saw her doing that too. We've seen example of it. It's crazy to watch play out. She does not respect anyone else at all. And that means she doesn't respect the court. I mean, that ultimately, the bankruptcy court will not tolerate this for very long, Lynette. They have already come down on you about it. They have already, and Lynette probably figures, well, hell, I'm losing everything therefore. Well, what you're actually doing with this, Lynette, is you're giving Jeremy Hales more money. Is that what you want to do? You want to give him more money? I mean, my God. The last thing I would want to do if I were her is to give Jeremy Hales more of what's going to be claimed from it. And that's ultimately the issue. Jeremy is going to get more out of anything that they pick up. Like she can't grasp even the basic fundamental of that. But she ends up interrupting. She refuses to allow questions to be completed before answering, and thereby impeded, delayed, and frustrated the fair examination of the opponent under blah, blah federal rule. It was so bad in this that they have to take breaks. Her own counsel is like, let's take multiple breaks to try to get her under check. I mean, they're noting it right here. I love how they deny that this stuff is happening, by the way. Again, imagine if Jeremy did this. What do you think would be the discussion to it? Imagine if Bruce, you remember again how the deposition of Hales went and the discussion about it. Now again, imagine if Bruce ended up having to write that they were so out of control that Jeremy, like again, imagine, I'm throwing his name in, I'm changing the name up. So imagine if Bruce were writing in, hey, despite the fact that that Randy tried to control Jeremy did blah, blah. Imagine his name in all of that. How do you think it would be discussed then? Because it definitely would not be the same. Like they treat it again, but they treat it all like it's some kind of big fucking joke. Everything. It's all a big joke. It's a big way of wasting money. It's a big way of wasting time. And they all think it's a game. And maybe one day, maybe a court will get tired of it. This court doesn't seem like they want to deal with that kind of garbage. But courts have allowed this. The federal court especially allowed this behavior to the degree. That's why all these people, in my opinion, that's why Bruce ends up getting hemmed up. I think that's why Lynette ends up getting hemmed up, because they finally run into courts that do take them to task. But But this document's amazing. Like, if you haven't read it, you should. It is something else because it goes through again. It talks about three breaks were taken off the record so that debtor's counsel could attempt to correct his client's conduct. 3 breaks had to be taken. They had to go off the record 3 times because Lynette was so out of control. Again, imagine that. That is, I've heard some crazy, but this is like next level lunacy. It is entertaining. I do have to admit that. Like, I really like Hale's Sunday stream will be really good. I bet it's about this stuff. I bet that'll be fun to cover. And I don't know if that's the end of videos on this, or if there's another video. I'll have to see, because I'm curious if we've actually hit the. I'm curious how breaks have gone. I've been writing down a few questions here, and one of the questions I'd really like to know about. Heck, I wonder if Jeremy would answer a few questions on that. Like, if he could, I don't know. I wonder if he'd have a few moments to answer some stuff. I would love to answer, not tonight, obviously it's late, but I'd love to ask him things like when they worked into the breaks, how was that? How did that go? And there's just a few other things that I've thought of since we had those initial questions that I'd like to ask him. Give me 1 second. I was pulling up if you think of things too. That's the end of the depot. Well, there's a lot more, I think, that question-wise, though, that you could definitely ask. Again, like the 3 breaks, when they came to them and discussed that, how exactly, how does that come about? Like, when you get there, how was Saran Wrap acting during that? Was it getting worse? And where was he? Like, did he seem exasperated? Was like, oh my God, what have I gotten into here? So it does make you wonder. I'm curious about his mindset. I know they can't straight up say, yes, this is how he thinks, or this is what's going on with him. But you can tell, I mean, he's got to be by now thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Surely, this guy, he has to wonder, like, what in the name of God have I gotten myself into? Because I definitely would be horrified, wouldn't you? I mean, if you were her counsel, wouldn't you be like, what in the name of God have I wandered into? Because most counsel, they don't have to deal with stupid like this. This is not normal. Most people control themselves. I've seen a lot of court cases. This is not normal. There's nothing normal about this behavior. So I had somebody ask, is any of this case normal? No, absolutely not. And that's why we watch it so diligently, because it is not even close to normal. Most people respect the courts. Most people fear the courts, but these folks don't fear the court because, again, nothing's ever happened to them. So why would they? But the bankruptcy courts, they don't play around. Most people, when they deal with a bankruptcy, they don't run into issues like this. Bankruptcies are usually pretty smooth, and they blame Hales for the lack of. They try to make it sound like, well, it's somehow his fault. No, he's not the one who brought it. He's not the one who should be on their best behavior. It's her. It's been her case. Like, again, she thought that, I don't know what I guess they thought that Hales had no way to respond to this stuff. He just basically would have to eat it. I mean, I'm not really sure what they were thinking here. Maybe they weren't thinking at all. I don't know. But I guess they thought he had no option. And they're wrong. They were absolutely wrong. Anyway, let's hit the remaining super chats. We kept up with them pretty well. And I appreciate you folks too. Let's see. 1 minute. Oh, here's Lisa Lee. Might smell like pee. Thanks for the tea. Oh my God, the thought of Elemento P and Crook squatting. Oh, I know. You know what's really bad is they have an outdoor bathroom too, so you could have a front row seat of them squatting. Oh, that's pretty horrible. That is pretty horrible to think about. Yuck. Patrick, thanks for the fun there. What keeps them from lingering? They have a court order protection against them. If that is not their property, they have to stay 500 feet away from Germany. Yes, but in their minds, the court order doesn't exist anymore. They think that they can do whatever. You know, they play a really dangerous game. I mean, ultimately they do. They play a dangerous game. You can't make a person feel like they are in fear for their lives and think that, you know, you can harass and do whatever like they have and think that nothing will ever happen. Like, it's just it's the most bizarre thing to watch play out again. I've seen a lot of stupid, but this level of stupid, it's just, again, it's next level. All right, let's continue. It amazes me. Tug, what's the name of the option? I don't know. See, I didn't, as far as adoption, I did not keep up with a lot of that. To be honest, with that, it's not a lack of concern in that. I don't feel like anything will get done there. Just to be honest, I don't think, like, courts reversing their decisions, a court admitting that it's wrong, that is not normal. Courts do not typically admit that anything is done wrong. So I didn't keep up with a lot of that. You know, and maybe I should pay more attention to it because of the documentation there. I don't know. I also, with the deed, the thing with the whole deed thing, though, one of their major problems in that is the fact that the legal documentation, it's kind of what counts. We'll look at how the court sees all of this. You know, ultimately, the court is the one that makes the decision on whether any of this stuff matters or not. But these could be real problems for Lynette Preston. I'm not saying that, again, they 100% are or aren't, but they can be. Lynette has screwed up on this. And if... Man, I mean, it amazes me. But I don't know on that one, honestly. I'm sure others do. Yeah. It's called bearing. Lynette is terrible. Oh, she acts terrible, man. Can you imagine? Most of us would never act this way. We would never think to act this way. You know? If you told me that like with court, for example, but then again, okay, when Leslie was in court, Michael, I couldn't believe how those people acted. I mean, these are people that should know better, right? But I mean, I couldn't believe how they acted. They acted like complete buffoons too. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by anything that I see, but I am astounded by it sometimes. It does amaze me. It also amazes me to think like nobody can control any of these idiots. Like they just repeatedly act like idiots. And it is entertaining. Like I said, I will 100% admit I am entertained for sure. But they're going to end up Lynette. Nobody has told her, hey, this is probably a dumb idea. Nobody that she's listening to. And maybe it's because she doesn't listen to those people if they actually tell her something she doesn't want to hear. I know she didn't like hearing things. Like I said, when I noted that she should speak to a lawyer that is outside of these people, to get a second opinion. He's telling her, like, these people are going to destroy your lives. Is essentially what you're telling, like, Lynette. And she's like, I can't afford to. I mean, right away, it's she's already got an excuse. She's already preloaded a condition where she can get around that. So craziness, isn't it? S. Sean, thanks for the 10 there. Please say a prayer for me. I'm having cardiac. I'm done on Monday to finally get rid of my SVT. Well, you know what? For sure. You, again, love to you and prayers for you. And I hope everyone else keeps you in their prayers too. Everybody out there for sure. I try to keep a list. I write down people that note that. So love to you, and I definitely will. Definitely will. 2012. Thanks for the 2 there. Y'all. Hi. Indeed. That is one of the oldest trolling methods. You can tell with people that have been around for a minute because they, like I've said before, I don't like the written y'all. I don't like it because it's so weird to see just the people who co-opt it, and it's like, that's my culture. And I mentioned that one time. Like I told Megan, you don't like square bullet points or anything out there, because when you tell people you don't like it, they remember. They remember. I love it. Thank you, 2012, man. I appreciate you, brother. Rob, thanks for the 5. Question to ponder. If she did not use her legal name to register and voted in Otter Creek elections in 2023, being down on voter fraud, well, that's interesting. Actually, here's another question. If she was running for office, was she running for office under her legal name? Like how exactly does that work? Can I just run under a nickname like Jim Bob Carruthers or something? Oh, you want to hear something really funny? I was talking to the guy at the toy store up here, right? And he, like I said, he's a nice guy. It's a BEAMBA toys, and he was like, what do I call you? Did I call you like did I call you Tad? Because he'd seen my my Facebook account, and I was like, yeah, it's a joke. TUG, that umbrella guy. And, it was just really funny to run into somebody in real life that's seen like all the Thaddeus jokes or the Tad jokes. I was showing off something earlier too. Some of you, this will mean nothing to at all, but some of you will find this possibly interesting. So I want to show it off. Like I said, I'll trade stuff. I have stuff in my garage or something that's older, and I want something. So he had a bunch of, look at those, aren't they beautiful? These are toys from 1979. These are if you've ever watched Battlestar Galactica, man, my brain. These are from the original, although the Vipers haven't changed much from, if you've never watched the remake of Battlestar Galactica. Man, that's a good show. The one from the 2000s, from the aughts. Oh my God, that's a good show. But I thought these were cool. I haven't seen Vipers in a long time, and he had a whole set of them. Look at those. Aren't they cool, though? I always liked those. I thought they were cool. But he's got the refueler, which is the thing on the left. He's got the stellar probe, which John Cook is probably like, ooh, probes. Like, gross. Stay away, you weird ED warrior. Then you got the Vipers in there. Got a whole set of them there. So I had, like I said, I'd gone up and traded. I ended up with a couple of decent toys to trade over, and I got good trade on them. So, like, heck yeah. But again, he has all kinds of stuff. I got his prices too are crazy low. So he had I didn't realize he made a toy line of it. You remember the show Lost? I love the show Lost. So they apparently had a toy line, and they made 6 figures, which I would love to have a John Locke figure, but I didn't even know they existed. Well, he had a Charlie figure that was boxed and everything, and he had it for $10. I was like, man, that is amazing. You know, it's still boxed and everything. So like I said, I had trade in. I wouldn't spend any money on it, but I picked it up. I thought it was cool. He had you just had some, there's so many random interesting things. Let's see if I missed anybody. Tomorrow, I think what we'll cover, we've got a few things to cover in the next few days. We have a couple of answers that have come up that we have not actually been able to check out. Like, for example, this is something that, let me pull this up here for you real quick. Now, I want to go over this, but this may be a Sunday thing because it's long. So there's actually, I believe, 2 answers that have come up for paint chips. There's the procedural accommodations, where they're answering his, it's essentially paint chips trying repeatedly to get the ECR. He's saying, I'm a nut job, therefore. So I thought this, I haven't even read it yet. I wanted to save it to read live. I thought it would be fun. So this is Hale's responding to paint chips on that. And there's another response as well. So we have 2 responses on that. We have a response to, really not a response. We have a, give me a minute, a post by Lynette Preston. She has a few of them, but she has a pretty wild one that I just haven't circled back to yet. I was going to show you it. You know what's funny is we got her all of those freaking subscribers. And did you hear 2L said that Michelle was going to give her an interview, but she won't do it live. You know why they won't do it live? Because Michelle says things that she's not supposed to, and they're too fucking cowardly to do it live. Aren't you? You're cowards. If they had any backbone, they would do it live. But they're afraid Michelle might tell the truth, so they won't do it live. They will only do a pre-recorded interview. That way, they can cut on it and take out the parts that again they're not helpful. Like when people do that, see, that irritates me. It irritates me because it tells you that they're they're PRing for her. They don't want to do an interview. They want to do a puff piece for Lynette Preston. So it'll be another, oh, these people are so horrible. They're so terrible. They also lied about something that is pretty awful. They said that when CPS went to the home that somebody had accused her of some pretty, let's just say some pretty awful stuff, and that CPS did physical examinations there. That's not, if first of all, that better be a lie because that's not how CPS is supposed to work at all. I had, in fact, as I said, I cannot pin this on any of them specifically, but I had, while covering this, I've had, well, a couple of fake call-ins for stuff, but one of them was a pretty gross one where somebody had alleged some pretty awful stuff. And when CPS came out, they come out with law enforcement. You know, they have somebody that's that has a pew, of course, and they asked one of the girls some stuff that I did not like my kids being asked, but besides that, they don't do physical. Can you imagine them just like being like, okay, right here, we're going to do a physical examination? There's no control to that. That doesn't even make sense. So for them to say that happened right there, either number one, that's a lie, or number two, you got a lawsuit to have, one or the other. But I do not believe that they were just like, yep, let's do that right away. So on top of things, though, let's see, we also have to cover things like this. I have again skipped. So when we just to show you how nasty freaking Preston has been. So a few days ago, this was right before the depot hit, she went after Ashley, and she made some insane claims about her. Insane claims. You know, the problem with weirdo ass claims too. Who's to blame when a child is out of control to that level? You know, let's just say everything was legit. Let's just say, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying, let's say every single word that Lynette Preston threw out there, all of it was legit. Who would be to blame for that? Would it all be Ashley's fault? Or does something lie into people that are supposed to be there and are supposed to take care of you? They're supposed to teach you how to be a decent human being. You know, if a child really is like no child is lost. But I tell you, I dealt with, so I had 3 kids that had come from a home that was just, their story was unreal. The level of horror that they dealt with was unreal. It's unfathomable. So the oldest child, the parents were addicts, and they would take their kids down to the fairgrounds and they would trade them for drugs, and they would do horrible things. That's just horrible. I'm not going to get any detailed in it, but it was horrible. So these kids were shut down. They were shut down to levels that, yeah, I've never seen kids. Well, there were one kid, I think, that was about at that level, but typically you don't run into kids that are that shut down. But these kids were just shut the fuck down. And what you learn from kids, the reason I bring that up, these kids would act out. They would do awful things sometimes, but it's because they had been through awful. They never experienced any true love from anyone, and they had all they finally, luckily, they found a lady that adopted all 3 of them. So you got all 3 of these girls together. This I was touched by the whole. I was like, oh my God, you know. very little hits me in my feels like that, but that did. It hit me hard in my feels because these girls have been through so much. And but this woman, she ended up adopting all of them. But the situation was so bad for these kids that, like one of the kids had gone nonverbal. They just stopped talking. And they didn't talk for almost 2.5 years. Finally, with intense trauma-focused therapy, they went to a specialist for that because you need a specialist for it. They got the help that they needed, but it took forever. It took forever to get them to the right places. But their behavior, again, it was bad. But, in that situation, they obviously weren't to blame. So if you're taking kids that are hiding these type of things, if you're taking kids that are in awful situations, and then you're like, well, they're acting out. Yeah. It's a huge indicator the kids are in that situation. So again, with Lynette, one thing that she won't talk about at all. She's accused of some pretty awful stuff. And she keeps focusing on saying, well, this kid here she's out of control. She's this or that. Man, first of all, teenagers are not, I remember being a teen. I was not easy sometimes. I'm sure some of you may have been the greatest teen ever, and props to you if you were. But even the greatest kids, they do something in acting out. The kids that are dealing with awful stuff, they definitely act out. Sometimes they act out to get out of the home. Sometimes they act out because they don't know how to deal with stuff. But the stuff that Michelle claims here is so insane that I don't believe. Again, I have encountered her lying on my own. I've encountered her, again, lying about just simple stuff. And when you encounter that, when you find it, it shows you who a person is. And if they'll lie about small things, this is something that I imagine your kid dealing with problems in the aftermath and then coming out and acting like this. She also makes it very clear. One of the things that really bothers me there too, she makes it very clear that like Ashley is her stepdaughter. She makes it this division like that's not really your child. And if you have that mindset, then a child will never be yours anyway. Hate that. But anyway, all right. Well, hey, I'm going to end here. We've gone for a while tonight. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about the videos and see what all's there. But anyway, tomorrow we'll hit some new stuff, and I will see you then. Peace.